Let's
Let's
go.
get it started.
Yep.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a very special edition of the Rock Fantasy Files. Look who's hosting. I'm back again because Steven's not here. Unfortunately, Steven passed away in a terrible car accident, so I am hosting the show tonight. And
Man. That doesn't look.
I'm just kidding. He's interviewing other bands that are playing the Rock Fantasy Fest. So he said, you know what? You take the reins, and I'm hosting tonight. I'm James, bass player from Crucial Pain and proprietor and clerk of Disc and Dat Record Store in Bethel, Connecticut. I've got awesome guests with me here tonight. Tony Dio is here. Ovi is here. Count Ralphus is here. Ed Farshty is here. And we are going to talk about 5 classic albums from 1985. It's a 5-way album battle this week. First up, we have Hallows Eve from Atlanta, Georgia, with their album Tales of Terror. It's their debut album. Came out on July 12th, 1985. Was released on Metal Blade Records, but marketed and manufactured by Combat Records. Next up, we have Exciter from Ottawa, Canada, with their third album, Long Live the Loud. Came out in June of 1985 on Music for Nations Records. After that, we've got Dark Angel from Downey, California, with their debut album, We Have Arrived, released in March of 1985 on Azra and Metal Storm Records. Next up after that, we've got Exodus from Richmond, California, with their debut album, Bonded by Blood, released on April 5th, 1985 on Torrid/Combat Records. And then we've got Anthrax from New York City with their second album, Spreading the Disease, released on October 30th, 1985 on Island/Megaforce Records. Steven likes to do little factoids about these albums. I guess I just gave you a bunch. But with the Dark Angel record, We Have Arrived is the one and only album with Jack Schwartz on drums. He would later be replaced. They said, may the Schwartz be with you, and got Gene Holt to replace him. The album was re-released in 1986 and 1997 by Axe Killer Records out of France. It's the only Dark Angel album not available on the streaming service, and the song Merciless Death was re-recorded for the next album, Darkness Descends. Exodus, the Bonded by Blood album, was originally supposed to be called A Lesson in Violence, and they changed the name when they couldn't find suitable artwork for A Lesson in Violence. Their song Impaler was originally to be featured on the album, and that was abandoned when Kirk Hammett of Metallica used the main riff for the song Trapped Under Ice. Also of note here, Exodus re-recorded this album on October and released it on October 28th of 2008 with the version of Let There Be Blood, released on Zaints Records. Anthrax factoids. This is the first album to feature Frank Bello and Joey Belladonna. There was a Madhouse single and video that was released on MTV. The studio session for this album also gave birth to the SOD album, Stormtroopers of Death, Speak English or Die. After they were done recording Spreading the Disease, there was some time left over that they had already paid for. So Scott and Charlie brought in Danny Loker and Billy Milano and recorded the SOD album, Speak English or Die. Imagine if that came out today. Oh boy, there'd be a lot of cancellations. Also of note, the songs AIR, Madhouse, Gung Ho, and Lone Justice were all re-recorded for an album that Anthrax put out in November of 2004 called The Greater of Two Evils. So there you go. There's your little factoids as a tribute for Stephen, who cannot be here tonight. So we're going to go around and give our 5, 4, and 3 rankings, and then we're going to come back around and give our 2 and 1 rankings. So I am going to go ahead and pick Ovi to kick us off.
Right.
Kick it, Ovi, kick it.
Yeah. For me, Exciter is speed metal. I can't stand speed metal, so I'm going to leave it at that.
Gotcha.
For number 4, I'm going to do Exodus, Bonded by Blood. It's not my type of band. I mean, it's for me, it sounds like the guitars from Kill 'Em All and the drums and vocals from Show No Mercy just geared up our speed a bit. As for, I liked some songs like The Relievers from Evil, Metal Command, and then there were none. I think it was the best song on that album. As for number 3, it's going to be Hallows Eve, The Tales of Terror. I've never heard this album before, so it was really cool to check it out. It's kind of like half grindcore, half punky, half thrash. It's got a lot of elements to it. I think it's a really cool, like, it's a true underground classic. It has all the underground traits that we got in the album. It never break too big. It stays true to the sound to this very day. Songs I really like was Metal Merchants, Horror Show, and Other Limits was my favorite of that album. That's my 5, 4, and 3.
Very cool.
Yep.
Tony Dio, what do you got?
Okay, so my number 5, I'm going to go with Dark Angel, We Have Arrived. I think it's got some cool songs on, some good guitar work on it. I like Merciless Death. I thought it was a really good opening track. Welcome to the Slaughterhouse is really cool. I think that I don't have any Dark Angel in my collection right now at all. I used to have some cassettes, and I had Leave Scars, I had Live Scars, I had was it Time Doesn't Heal. The stuff with Ron Reinhardt, I like his vocals better than I do Don Dottie's, to be honest with you. But I mean, there's some cool songs on this record. It was cool to go back and revisit it because I hadn't heard it in years. I remember a friend having it with the original cover art with the drawings of the people on it. And then they go back and reissue it later, and it just had the Dark Angel logo on it. Ralph's probably got both versions.
I got
that's the one. I remember that. Yeah.
That's
and then
cool.
They reissue it. It just had like the Dark Angel logo on the front when they did the reissue of it. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, this
cover.
That's it, Ed. Yeah, there's both. Yep. Cool deal.
This cover rules, though. The guy's doing like a shovel. He's doing like a shovel skank, and there's like a mosh pit of demons flying around.
Yeah.
He's doing the shovel skank.
I wonder why they changed
awesome.
it.
And Ed's got the awesome shirt.
Better. That's much better.
Ed's wearing the shirt of this too right now.
Okay, yeah, he is. That's much better than just the logo. I mean, they could have combined the two for the reissue. I think it would have been cool.
Like the Bonded by Blood thing. It's the same thing with the Bonded by Blood, but on CD.
Yeah.
So for number 4, I really like this album, but I stuck it at 4, and that's Tales of Terror from Hallows Eve. I've got the t-shirt on as well. This is a good record. It's a classic for sure. There's a lot of songs on here that kind of remind me of songs by other bands, the way they're structured and so forth. But I mean, there's some great stuff on here. When my go-to Hallows Eve album would be Death and Insanity, the next album. That's my favorite one by them. But I do like this one quite a bit. I mean, Plunging Into Megadeth is great. I think, Metal Merchants. I love the way Valley of Dolls kicks in and it goes into Metal Merchants, and they bring that little Valley of the Dolls riff back up in Metal Merchants. That's really cool. And of course, the title track of the band track, Hallows Eve, is really neat on here as well. I like there are no rules. It's kind of like Ovi said. You've got thrash metal. You got a little bit of punk influence in it. They were kind of all over the place, and they kind of settled in a little better on the follow-up 2 albums. But this is a classic. I just got Tommy signed it. You can see it there. He signed it. He was hanging out at Maryland Doomfest last year, and he's got it's Black Moonbow Records is his record label. It's mostly stoner rock bands, and yeah, it was good to see him again. I hadn't seen him in years. I've also got the deluxe edition box set that came out that has all 3 albums and the DVD in it, and that's signed by Tommy and by Skeletor, the original guitarist, because they were touring back. God, I can't remember how many years ago it was. God, 15 years maybe. They started playing again, and it was just Tommy and Skeletor, and they had some new members. But really cool band if you've never checked them out. And Stacey Anderson has a very unique voice. I mean, it's very aggressive, but then he's got a little bit of operatic part to it, you know, but he doesn't sound like anybody else. He's got a very unique voice. So that's my number 4. My number 3 is going to be Spreading Disease by Anthrax. This is my favorite Anthrax album. I don't skip anything on this one. I like everything about it. You know, we were talking about this the other week on Sea of Tranquility. We were talking about these couple of these records, or this one. And I think Ralph or somebody brought up and said, this is before Anthrax kind of got silly. I mean, it was a full-on metal band. I mean, they were all dressed in like leather and stuff. They weren't wearing the jam shorts and all that stuff. It hadn't got all kind of kooky yet, which I do like Among the Living quite a bit. I think that's a great record. But this is my favorite one, and this is just straight ahead heavy metal. I mean, I love AIR. I love Lone Justice, Madhouse. I mean, Armed and Dangerous, such a killer song, and Medusa and Gung Ho. I mean, there's not a bad track on this record. And to me, they never really topped it. I mean, they changed their sound, got a little heavier on Among the Living, which, like I said, I do like. But this is just such a great record, man. It really is. Straight ahead heavy metal from Anthrax. So, yeah, that's my first 3, guys.
So I forgot to keep score because I'm a fucking stoner.
So Ovi, what was your 3 again? Tell him.
Ovi was your number 5 was Exodus.
No, it's the
Exciter,
Exciter.
Exodus.
Then Exodus.
Yeah.
And Exciter, Exodus, and then
Hallows Eve.
Hallows Eve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how to fucking score this because I don't know how Denny and Steven score it. Like how to point score.
I would just put the point
1 to 5. But like the first album, the last album, the first choice to the 5th choice.
Okay.
Like
fair enough.
Yeah. How many? Yeah.
And one with the least amount of points, I guess, would be the winner, right? When you're doing it that way.
Well, we could just reverse the numbers either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if it's the number 1, you give it a 1. But at the end, you're going by the one that has the least amount of numbers is number 1. So if somebody's album is number 3, you just put 3 next to it, and it's if you don't want points, you want everybody to be 1. You know.
Right.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
This seems like simple that way. You just go, okay, has number 1, so put 1 next to Anthrax or whatever.
Fair enough. All right, Ralphus, being that you just chimed in, let's go with you.
All right, so yeah, the 4 and 5 is kind of hard. I've been going back and forth, but I'm gonna go with Dark Angel. I'm sorry, Ed. I know you love Dark Angel. I like this album. It's great. I wish I would have had this first. I had Darkness Descends first, and that kind of ruins it for me. I just love the way Darkness Descends sounds compared to this. It's just there's just so much more viciousness going on in that album. But this is a great album. So many great memorable songs on it. I like the Merciless Death version on Darkness Descends better, but this is still really cool. Falling from the Sky's killer, great guitar solos in that. I like every song on it. There's nothing to like skip. The one that I didn't like the intro to Hell on Its Knees. I thought that was a little long. So like, I mean, I really love all these albums. So just finding one song, I like that song. It's just the intro I didn't like, but pretty much everything else I like. Yeah, Don Doty, and he had such high screams at times. All these singers could hit the high note, except for like Exodus. Exodus had like he kind of had his range and that was it. But Paul Bailoff, but at all these other guys, man, they could go really high when they want to. But yeah, like I said, I love the shovel skank on the cover and stuff. That classic old picture of them guys, you know. But Gene Hoglan's on the back of this though. He's in there.
Oh wow.
Interesting.
He joined right after the album was recorded.
All right. So then yeah, we just did Anthrax recently on the SOT and AIR Medusa. The lyrics were written by Johnny Z, which was really cool. Madhouse, that was the first time we seen like a thrash metal band on MTV's Headbangers Ball. That video fucking kicked ass. I loved it. I loved it when this album came out. I seen them on this tour opening up for Wasp and Black Sabbath. And believe it or not, they blew everybody away on that tour. Because you think Black Sabbath with Glenn Hughes singing, that would be the most amazing thing ever. It was a nightmare. He was like a crackhead at the time, Glenn Hughes, and he got punched in the throat by like a bouncer or a roadie,
Tour manager.
like right before the tour started. Yeah, tour manager. Right before the tour started, fucked him up. He only lasted like 6 shows. We caught like the last show, and then that Ray Gillen came in and finished the tour and stuff. But the Anthrax, they were exciting at the time. They fucking kicked ass. I thought they were awesome. And I liked Among the Living. I seen them a couple times on that tour. It wasn't until that I'm the Man EP came out, and that's when things were just like, fuck this. I pulled out the shirt that this one, it's actually a 1985 tour, but it was for the Armed and Dangerous EP that came out right before.
Mhm.
But this is like my oldest Anthrax shirt. It's kind of lame on the back. It's like all their autographs.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like their first EP after their debut album. They're playing little clubs, but their shirt that you can buy has all their autographs, like make believe on the back. It says Tour 85, but it's hard to see. But yeah, figured I'd throw that out there to show you. And then so yeah, number 3. The next 3 are fucking really hard for me. But I'm gonna go with Exciter. I'm wearing the shirt. Long Live the Loud. I love this album. I think I like the first 2 a tiny bit more than this one, but to me, it was always those first 3 Exciter albums. And Ovi blows them off saying, "Oh, they're speed metal." To me, they were Motorhead with a screeching singer, who played drums while he sings, which was amazing. Dan Beeler's voice, so unique. To me, it's Motorhead with a screeching high voice going over it. But I guess we called this. When you look back at Thrash, like they were like one of those bands that kind of are on the line. Are they speed metal? Are they thrash? There's definitely thrashing parts on this album. The song, the title track alone, "Long Live the Loud," that's pretty thrashing. So many great songs. I love every song on this album. So yeah, that's my 3. And I even have the cassette of it.
Nice.
And I have of course the CD. When you love an album, you get all 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have plenty of albums in my collection where I have all 3 media forms.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of someone who's got all the media forms, Ed Farshty.
All right.
What do you got?
All right.
He's got Dark Angel on 8-track.
Ah!
If it was available, I would have it.
You would.
Well, okay. Starting off number 5. This is actually an easy choice for me. These 5 albums, I knew going into it. Pretty much the 5 choices. What was going to be 5? What was going to be up to number 1? But wow, great albums. Really great albums. Number 5, Anthrax. Spreading the Disease. For me, the only Anthrax album I really, really love is the first album, Fistful of Metal. Yeah, I mean, I love that album. I love that Anthrax. I did not like, let's see the way I worded this here. The goofy, happy mosh metal, I call them. What they became, like Ralph was saying, kind of fits them. I like this album because it's kind of a mixture. It's got elements of what they became, but it's got a lot of the old elements. I love, let's see, we were talking about Madhouse. That was a cool video. That was really cool seeing them on MTV. I was like, wow, Anthrax, local band, a thrash band on MTV. That was cool. The last 3 songs, Armed and Dangerous, Medusa, and Gung Ho, fantastic. Great songs. The rest of the album is good, but not great. Those 3 songs I love because they were co-written by Neil Turbin, Danny Luca, or Johnny Z. So it's, those are great people to have. Although Neil Turbin, God, I won't get into him when he toured with Onslaught. What an ego. But anyway, what a great voice. He wouldn't even do an Anthrax song either. Okay, number 4, Exciter, Long Live the Loud. I absolutely love the first 2 Exciter albums. Just pinnacle classics, unbeatable. This album, not as phenomenal as those 2, but still great. Absolutely great record. Yeah, I mean, I can't praise the first 2 albums enough. But this album is just, it pretty much, it falls by the wayside compared to the first 2 albums. Everyone's like, first two albums. But Long Live the Loud is almost as great, just as heavy, more speed metal than the first 2. I think the first 2 a little more power speed. This has got a little more speed metal influence in it, which is great records.
But for me, it was Unveiling the Wicked. It was where it dipped for me. I thought those first 3, they were kind of just like on a ladder. Yeah, and that's where it kind of ends right there.
Record, but after that, then it definitely went downhill.
Yeah.
Downhill after that. Beyond the Gates of Doom was a fantastic song. I Am the Beast, the title track. It's just a fantastic record. Number 3. This is where it gets hard for me because these 3 albums are 3 of my favorite albums of all time. But number 3, I got to go something. I'm going Hallows Eve, Tales of Terror. This is, like I said, another one of my all-time favorite albums. I've been heavily listening to this album for 40 years since it came out, and to this day, it still means as much to me as it did back then. I discovered them on this album, and let's see, this is one of those albums that it just immediately I was drawn to. It was, as like I said, as riveting today as it was back then. Plunging into Megadeth kicks this album off as a thrash metal masterpiece, in my opinion. Elements of punk, elements of this, elements of that. It's just a brilliant record. The song Hallows Eve is one of my all-time favorite songs from anybody. It also was very, very meaningful to me and has a special place in my heart. I mentioned this on the Rock Fantasy Files. One of the first Rock Fantasy Files we ever did was with Tommy Stewart. And I was able to tell him this story. Back in school, I was either, I don't even know, probably late high school or early college, whatever. I wasn't a great student. I had a writing class. They told us to write a music video for any song we wanted. So I picked Hallows Eve. It's brilliant lyrics, very descriptive. So I was able to construct a whole wild video tale, splicing in live things. And it was an amazing thing. I got an A+ on it. That and my Gene Hogan interview, the only 2 A+ I ever got in this writing class. But so that song will always be a very special place in my heart. And the album is one of my all-time favorite albums. Just, I can't talk about it enough. I can't believe I had to put it number 3. If it was anything, any other choices, it would be number 1. A couple things here. We got the original Anthrax album, of course. The original Exciter, Long Live the Loud. And if we're talking about Long Live the Loud, can't go without talking about Feel the Knife, which came out right afterwards as the extra song. Fantastic. Hallows Eve, the original Tales of Terror, and then the Metal Blade reissue that I got my poster hanging up in my bedroom. And here we go. We'll get to the other choice soon enough.
All right.
Good stuff.
So I will give everybody Steven's picks before I go. Steven's number 5 was Anthrax. His number 4 was Exciter. And his number 3 was Dark Angel. So there you go. There's Steven's picks. My picks.
What you got, James?
Whew, you guys are gonna hate me. My number 5 is gonna be Hallows Eve, Tales of Terror. I had never heard this album before. Seen the cover a million times, been to shows, and I've seen that album cover on back patches and on dudes' battle vests and stuff. And for some reason, I just never went and looked for it, never sat and listened to it. I gave it 2 full listens as my homework for this episode. And I do not like this fucking album at It does nothing for me. Plunging to Megadeth for me is a passable song. And then I got to admit, man, I listened to this once stoned out of my mind, and I listened to it once completely sober. And the vocals in this record just it's like it's so goofy to me, and I couldn't help but laugh at a bunch of the lyrics too. This record just does nothing for me, man. Outer Limits really just I was just laughing hard at that song. Yeah, I really just don't dig this album at all. It kind of reminds me of a mix of just some of the lyrics are just so goofy. It reminds me of almost like Gwar meets Manowar, if that makes any sense. I know you guys don't agree because this album's gotten a lot of love, and I know it's a big underground thing and everybody digs it, but I just do not like this one at all. If I could not put this on the list at all, I would have not put it on the list. Put it that way. So that's my number 5. Number
Future
4 is
Rolling Stone writer here.
What's that now?
Future Rolling Stone journalist here. No, just kidding.
I hate to be the dude that shits on a record, but if I don't like it,
you don't
I
like it. You don't like
man.
it. Hey,
You know, it's interesting because it's your first time hearing it. You're not hearing it in 1985 when we did, and you don't. It totally takes it out of context. The production probably sounds like shit. You know, you probably would like the second album a little bit more, but who knows? You might not like that. But I think you might like.
You might
that
even
and
like the third album.
Third one, yeah, the third one's even more cleaned up. But
more
I
Metallica.
totally get it though, and that's an honest opinion. He's not trying to go along with what everybody else thinks. You know, it's cool hearing a fresh take on something that he hadn't never heard before. You know, at least he listens to the album. Some people go, "I don't like the album, so I didn't listen to it," and then they shit on it. You know,
true.
He listened to it twice,
and it's for me. It's like it's not even the production. Like I can deal with raw production. I love the first 2 Carnivore albums. The production on those are not very good, but it's just for me, it's the songwriting is just not there, man.
The second one, Retaliation's got a great production, I think.
It does have better production than the first one, sure. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, sorry guys. I think this album stinks. I love you guys.
We still love you.
Number 4 for me is going to be Exciter, Long Live the Loud. This is a band I have tried to get into in the past. I've listened to Heavy Metal Maniac a few times trying to get into that because I've had so many people go, dude, that's such a huge influential thrash metal album. And it did nothing for me. And this one didn't really do a whole lot for me either. I find it's head and shoulders above the Hallows Eve record, but just really doesn't make me want to buy it, and it doesn't make me want to delve into their catalog any further. The title track is okay. I Am the Beast is all right. I kind of liked Sudden Impact. I thought that was one of the better songs on the album. And Beyond the Gates of Doom was cool because it was a little slower and had a different element to it. I feel like these guys are very talented musicians, a lot more talented than guys in Hallows Eve, but I feel like the songwriting is just they don't have a lot of hooks, man. There's nothing that makes me go, yo, I need to hear this again. It's just kind of like, all right, that's cool. Next song. Like the verse riffs are okay, but there's no hooks. There's nothing that makes me want to, oh fuck, I have to hear that again. I hear a lot of Motorhead influence in them. I also hear a lot of influence that these dudes had on later bands that I love, like Midnight and Toxic Holocaust. I could definitely hear the speed and raging parts in some of Midnight and Toxic Holocaust stuff, but I find the guys in Midnight and Toxic Holocaust to be way better songwriters. Not a fan of the vocals. They're very tight and can play fast, but I just feel like they're kind of unremarkable. And finally, my final note is Exciter just doesn't excite me.
Do you realize that he's also the drummer's the singer? I don't know if that
Yes.
matters, but it's like,
Yes.
oh,
No, I respect that and understand that. There's not a whole lot of bands. I mean, Deceased. I can't name too many others. I totally respect that, but I just don't like the guy's vocals. Number 3, Dark Angel. Now this is my kind of thrash metal. I really like the Bay Area style of thrash metal. That's what gets me going. It's what gives me goosebumps. It's what gets me fucking pumped up to play. And that's what I feel like Dark Angel fucking perfected on this. We Have Arrived is great. This is another one, a third album that I had never heard before this assignment, and I really dig this. The title track is killer. Merciless Death is a great song. I love the bass intro to that fucking track. Welcome to the Slaughterhouse is awesome. Hell's on Its Knees is a great one. I really like the kind of fake out there with the acoustic intro, and then it goes into just ripping fucking Slayer type thrash. Great song. Yeah, lots of Slayer worship on here, killer riffs, punky hooks, great vocal style. I really dig the vocals on this. And my final note is I would totally buy this if there was a reissue that I could find for a halfway decent price. And I believe these guys are a superior band to Exorder and Hallows Eve. That's my 5, 4, and 3.
Exciter, you mean?
I do.
Exorder.
Oh, did I say Exorder? Fuck me.
Lauren
Yes.
Kid.
All those X bands, you know.
yeah,
Yeah,
Exodus,
Exhumer.
anxiety.
All right, Ovi. Let's go. Let's get everybody's 2 and 1. What do you got?
Number 2, I have Anthrax. I really love the artwork. I think it's such a, it has that attitude, that thrash metal attitude. The artwork, it's so cool.
Somebody was
think
saying on our SOT episode that they thought it looked like Dan Lelker in there,
It does
but
look like Danny.
but then somebody else
A little bit.
commented saying something that their boyfriend at the time had posed for this picture that got painted into the artwork, and somebody made a comment on about it.
Yeah, I mean, I also like the first album. I think the first album is so underrated and like so unappreciated in compared to what they're known for. I mean, I guess it's the vocalist that did kick Danny Liker. I mean, it's beyond me, because imagine if Danny Liker could have been in the band. There would be no what you call it. What did you rephrase it as? Party trash?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, goofy, happy metal.
Right. If Danny Liker has been in the band,
That's
that
perfect.
it would be great.
No GH
As
metal.
for songs, I mean, I guess it's a very diverse album, because you got anything from Armed and Dangerous to Medusa and Gung Ho. For me, the best songs though is Gung Ho, and I also like Aftershock. But my coolest song I really like is Medusa. Dan Spitz. Then for my number 1, it shouldn't be a big surprise. It's Dark Angel. I mean, what an album! What an album! I mean, I think the drummer is awesome on the first album. I mean, I don't understand why people don't see the album for more what it is, because or the rest of the band look back on that album, they don't almost count it because it's not even prioritized by them, but they still saying we have arrived. So I don't know. As for it, it's such a good sound. It has such good vocals, like everybody says. It has such cool drum sound, and the guitar and everything. I mean, it's like the America's version of the German side, I would say. Like, it has that rawness we get from Sodom, we get from Destruction. It's but it has that American flavor on the top of it with the vocals and stuff. The songs I really liked was "Falling from the Sky" and "No Tomorrow." I think it was really cool. But the one that I really like is "Welcome to the Slaughterhouse." For me, that's the shit.
Hell
So
yeah.
that's my number one.
Good
Nice.
song.
Dark Angel.
What do you got, Tony Dio? 2-1.
2-1. Well, this was tough, but I'm gonna do Exodus at number 2, and I think this is a thrash classic. Just so many good tracks on this one. I mean, Bonded by Blood, the title track, of course. And then there were none, A Lesson in Violence. I mean, Strike of the Beast is my favorite track on here, probably my favorite Exodus song. And yeah, it's just it's got it all. It came out a little bit too late, kind of got pushed away a little bit. And I think if it had come out maybe a year earlier, they would have been part of the big 4, maybe instead of Anthrax, maybe. But I don't know. Anthrax had platinum records, or they had a gold record anyway. So I don't think none of the albums we're doing tonight, none of them have even gone gold, but they've gone gold in our hearts. So that's all that matters.
That's right.
So number 1 for me is definitely going to be Exciter. Exciter is one of my all-time favorite bands, period. And I got into them when I was telling the story the other week when I was telling Ralph about my friend that gave me the stack of records, and they had all this cool stuff, and they had Violence and Force in it, and that's where I heard them for the first time. And I was like, I fell in love with it, loved it, and I love Heavy Metal Maniac even more. It's such a great record. And this is a trilogy of records. Those first 3 are just classics, and I mean, the title track, Long Live the Loud. I love I Am the Beast. Victim of Sacrifice, just so heavy and grinding, Beyond the Gates of Doom, that's full on, classic there. Of course, Sudden Impact, super heavy one. Born to Die, you actually start, they actually go a little more mainstream metal on that, and that kind of shows you that direction they're going in for the next album, Veiling the Wicked, because of course they changed guitar players then, and they seem to be going a little more straight ahead heavy metal direction, less speed metal and thrash influence. Wake Up Screaming, such a good last song here, closes it out. And I've got of course Ed showed the the Feel the Knife EP. It's great, got all this stuff autographed when I've seen them a couple of times. Some of them's autographed by all 3 members, some's by 2. Here is the version I showed earlier. This is on Combat. This was on Combat Records, and it's got the white logo. The Music for Nations pressing in Europe had the red logo.
That's like the back patch. I got the back patch up here. It's got the red logo on my back patch. And the shirt too has it.
That's a bootleg album from the tour,
shit.
From that tour.
Wow.
I'm not sure where it was recorded at. I asked Alan and he told me, but I have forgotten. It's not a bad sounding recording for what it is. And of course I got the remastered CD.
Is that from back in the day, that album that you just showed?
Oh,
that
yeah.
like a really,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Never
it's
seen it
old
before.
school bootlegs. Yeah.
Oh wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, this is the remastered CD that came out through Megaforce that Jeff Waters had a hand from Annihilator, had a hand in remixing, and I think he did a good job on it. Sounds really good.
And it's cool how they put the Feel the Knife EP on this, because I never got that. You guys both have that. I got a friend that has it, and I've been bugging him for years to trade me something for it. He won't fucking give it up.
Like I said, I've been a fan of Exciter for years, and I think the first time I saw a version of them, they played on it was the John Ricci version with the guy Jacques was the lead singer, and they played at one of the Brave Words BWBK festivals once, and in Cleveland, and it was cool, and I got to meet John and talk to him and stuff. But then I think it was God, what year was it? Was it 2015 they did Defenders of the Old, Ed?
Something like that. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Man, okay, I'm a massive Kiss fan. So, growing up, I never saw Kiss with makeup. I saw them, the non-makeup tours. I thought I'd never see Kiss with makeup. So when they did the reunion tour in 96, that was just like, wow. I mean, that's just like, just a big part of something in my life that just was amazing to finally see Kiss, the original
What
four
a
guys.
second
When I
chance.
saw when I saw Exciter, the original three guys at Defenders of the Old, it was the same feeling. I mean, I got to meet them before the show, and they were playing, and man, my girl at the time, she said, "You don't ever like really rock out that much at shows. You bob your head." She said, "When you Exciter was playing, you were going nuts." I was like, "Yeah," because I thought I'd never see it, And then, of course, got to see them a couple times after that. They played Hell's Heroes, and then they did the Carolina Chainsaw Fest, which Ed was the stage manager at and all. And I think there was a little bit of a rock stardom going on a little bit with Dan at that show, I know, but hey, he is a rock star. I mean, God, their first album came out before Kill 'Em All. So there you go, and it was a big influence on bands like Metallica and stuff. I think they're a highly influential band that really never really got their due. They kind of came and went. And they tried to get
and they
commercial.
toured with Metallica and Merciful Fate and Motorhead. That was a huge
with
tour
those
for them
bands. Yeah, with Metallica and Merciful Fate opening for them. So yeah, that was pretty cool. They tried to go a little commercial there later on, and I think it just kind of fizzled out. But I was glad to see them come back and start playing festivals again and see people really getting into it. It was really cool. So like I said, one of my favorite bands of all time. So that's why I had to pick them for number one. Yep.
Awesome. Count Ralphus, what do you got for 2 and 1?
All right, really quick. I forgot to show this when I was talking about Dark Angels. I got this CD. It's got like a Shell Shock demo and that 1984 demo before.
Oh, nice.
You got that? And I figure you did.
Yeah.
Oh, you probably had the actual cassettes of them, right? You got the cassettes?
I don't actually
Ed?
have the real demos. I got those.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, the 2 and 1 is really hard, but we kind of talked about this band recently on Sea of Tranquility, me and Tony and Keeler. And Keeler brought up a good point. He said this was the only band that had a Super 7 action figure. So I remember to pull it out this time.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
fucking
cool.
Exodus with Paul Bailoff. This is a complete masterpiece. I love it. It's one of the best thrash albums back then. And the Ultimate Revenge is what turned me onto it. I worshiped that videotape, watched it probably more than any other videotape of all time. And we used to know the words, like when they were interviewing the crowd and they go metal and they would headbang, and the black guy would walk by, go, ah, and Ed's somewhere in the back. Now I try to find Ed in the back, but he's there somewhere.
Somewhere.
But I got my autographed album from the band when Exodus did it in store at Rock Fantasy. And here's my Polaroid. I bring a Polaroid. I was the only one that had a camera that day. I don't think
Nice.
Keeler even got a picture with him, but there's a Polaroid with Paul Bailoff in Rock Fantasy back then, the old Rock Fantasy.
That is
And
fucking awesome.
I got that lame cover on the CD, which was so lame how they didn't put the classic artwork. And I even have that Let There Be Blood, the Rob Dukes one, and I thought it was all right, And so yeah, Exodus, fucking great band and everything. But my number one, I got to go with Hallows Eve. I know it's like, I totally respect everybody's opinion that flagged them or whatever. It's I could see if you like hearing it today, how it wouldn't hit the way it did back then. But like a lot of these bands, like when I was a huge Maiden and Priest fan, and then I started finding heavier stuff, it was easier to get into bands like Exciter and Dark Angel and Anthrax. And Hallows Eve, even though they had like guttural vocals, he had some high vocals. Exodus was the most harsh of them all, I thought, but I thought his Stacey Anderson's vocals are fucking amazing. He goes real guttural and deep. Then he got the high voice. He's got the scream. I love every song. He's super unique, and so is like almost all these guys are kind of unique. I mean, they all sound different to me, But yeah, Hallows Eve. I mean, like we were talking, or Ed had brought up how he had like here's like the new remastered one, and then like the original. But this I never buy. If I have the original, I'm not buying, like, unless it's like a big like package thing, but for some reason I had to buy this just because I heard it came with this poster. And I want to
Poster,
have this.
yeah.
I want to put it in a frame eventually, but I just wanted. I couldn't believe that. I was like, imagine having a poster of that. Like I don't remember anybody having one back in the day. And I actually did it with Death and Insanity too, because I wanted a poster for that, even though the artwork's not as good on that. But so yeah, Hallows Eve actually came into the Rock Fantasy too, and they just like went around the shop. It wasn't like an announced kind of sit down thing with them signing stuff because they played right around the corner at this place called the Grunge Club. It was a couple months earlier, I had went to see Whiplash. It was like the Power and Pain tour. They were supposed to play with Carnivore, and then they played in this warehouse. Carnivore had to cancel because Pete had to work. He couldn't get out of work that day, and so Whiplash headlined, and they filmed the show was filmed, and I have the old VHS of that. But I always talk about how important that show was because it was the first time I really seen slam dancing with my friends. Like we were little kids in there, and all these punks and metalheads all jumping around slam dancing. We were infatuated by it. For the next 2 months, we practiced every other night, someplace in the woods or wherever there was a boombox playing metal. We would fucking practice, and we were saying, hey, remember that one move they were doing, the chicken skank, and you get on the shoulders and you do this thing, and we were like trying to learn like the terms of it. It was like really funny, like thinking back. But anyway, 2 months later, Hallows Eve comes to that same club, and we're ready to go. We've been moshing for 2 months now, and when they came on, we did not leave that pit. We were fucking like 16 years old. We were just nonstop. I could barely remember the show. But the good thing is on this Hallows Eve box set that Tony showed earlier, on the DVD, there's 2 shows, and one of them is that Grunge Club show. The only thing that sucks is the camera is right on the band, and there was no stage in there. So the camera's right on the band. If they would have showed the crowd, you would have seen me the entire set. I was in that fucking pit.
Wow.
I never left the pit the entire time. And oh, and the second show on there, which is kind of funny, Tony, is on there. I'm sure I told the story before, but they played the Chance in Poughkeepsie, and they were opening up for Fate's Warning. And I went with 6 of us up to that show. The 3 youngest got in because they had ID saying they were 16, and the 3 oldest of us who didn't have ID didn't get in. Even though we had tickets, we bought our tickets, they wouldn't let us in for no ID. And that was on the Monument Tour, opening up for Fate's Warning. And it's crazy because years later they put out a DVD, and it's both of the shows that I went to.
Wow.
I sat in the parking lot, and we did whippets. We went around the corner and bought whippets, and we did whippets all night because we had to wait for our friends that got in, and just because they had IDs and we didn't. But and I have my Hallows Eve original shirt from then. It says 86, 87 on it, but this is my original. And this is actually the shirt that I'm wearing in the photograph with Paul Bailoff. For some reason, I was wearing that shirt that day.
Yeah.
Killer.
There's the back of it. But yeah, Hallows Eve, #1 for me. The fucking most underrated band of all time. One of the most underrated bands of all time for me.
Yep. They did make you're talking about Exodus. They did do that on CD. That is the original.
Oh yeah,
pressing. Yeah, and it's still got my price tag of $3.98 on the back.
Yeah, wow,
that's a steal.
I think these originals are worth a lot more than that now. So
Yeah,
Of
Yeah,
course.
but it's right. Ralph said about like because I'm in the borderland there because I got into metal like in the beginning of the 90s or say 93, 94. And I like started with Alice Cooper, Metallica, and stuff, and it was this is the heaviest stuff I ever heard. And then I come to a place and they put on Incantation with the Golgotha album. I'm like, it was like, so I can understand the sensation you're referring to. Just like
but that's like skipping so many steps on the ladder, going from Alice Cooper to Incantation. Like for me, it was like Sabbath, Priest, Maiden, AC/DC, and all that stuff. Then going a little heavier to Manowar, Jag Panzer, like the Exciter, and the bands that like even the early Anthrax stuff. It wasn't the heaviest stuff out there, but once you accepted that, and then you like Merciful Fate, and then you accept the evil side of shit, then you can dig Exodus and Slayer and all that stuff, and then you just fucking lost forever after that.
Yeah, most of us just kind of eased into it, growing up. But you hear somebody like Ryan Scow say that he was 10 years old. He heard Slayer. That's the first thing he heard that he
Yeah.
liked, and he's just been a fan ever since.
And it's like when you
know?
go to a show and you see a couple kids wearing Cannibal Corpse shirts, it's like, where's the fucking ladder? Like, I get, but you know what? At the same time, that band has always been there since they were born. So like,
Yeah.
it's not like it's
Yeah.
such a different thing. So even like hearing James and anybody that's younger, different era, I love hearing how they react to something like this. And they give a truthful reaction, and it's great. You know, it's like, hey. I can totally imagine when I hear stuff that I missed back in the day and I try to hear it now, I have to always put myself in that year and try to remember. But if you weren't around in that year, then that's like almost impossible to do, you know?
Totally different.
Yeah, I had like Kiss, Horror in Hell. I think I bought it on cassette when I was 10, and Our Maiden with Fear of the Dark was like my first into like rock and into
Yeah,
metal.
that's
and stuff.
amazing. There's two different records. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Ed Farsty,
Oh, hey.
I need you 2-1, bro.
Sure, gladly. Number 2, Dark Angel. We have arrived. Exactly. I cannot believe this is not my number 1 album, but we'll get to why when we get to number 1. But Dark Angel is my all-time favorite thrash band. I have considered myself the number 1 Dark Angel fan for 40 years. I have long-standing relationships with all the guys in the band. I could talk about the band for hours, all the times I've seen them live and hung out with them, and on and on and on and on. This was my first experience with the band. I got this album. Obviously, I saw the album cover, and I was like, I gotta hear this album. Bought the album, loved it to death. Have, like I said, they're my all-time favorite thrash band. Love everything they do. This album is, of course, not the merciless speed metal that they became on Darkness Descends. This album is kind of like Show No Mercy. It's a combination of heavy metal and early speed metal, and it's just like Avi said, it's classic. It's absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, I could talk forever about Dark Angel. I love them so much. Let's see. One thing to note, Don Doty. I love Ron Reinhardt. I think he's a fantastic singer, fantastic vocalist, brilliant fucking front man, a wild fucking stage presence. Don Doty is my favorite Dark Angel singer because it's the first, and I love his vocals. He formed the band Eliminate maybe like 8-9 years ago or something. It was basically him, some musicians from California, playing the first 2 Dark Angel albums live. He did maybe 2-3 shows out in California. This was a very limited thing. I knew it was going to be a very limited thing, but timing worked out. I brought him out here to headline one of my Rage of Armageddon festivals. So, because I had to. Again, I'm the biggest Dark Angel fan. Don Doty singing the first 2 albums. So I got to see Don perform half of this album live, half of Darkness live with those vocals. He still sounds great. And it was an absolutely amazing night for me just standing there and watching it. Number 1, Exodus, Bonded by Blood. The reason this album actually tops Dark Angel for me is because this is my all-time favorite thrash album. This is, in my opinion, the number 1 thrash album of all time. There's a lot of great thrash albums, but this one to me is the pinnacle. It hits every note, hits every mountaintop. It's the best. I knew this album. I actually had most of this album before it came out. I was tape trading back then, of course. By 84, I was big into tape trading. So probably 7 months before this album came out, I knew Exodus very well. I had numerous live shows. I had the demos, and they were already one of my favorite bands. So when this album came out, I knew every word pretty much from listening to the live show so many times. And I bought this album the day before the Studio 54 show. Of course, me and my friends, we were going to the show, so we needed ID. So we cut out of school the day before, skipped school, went into Times Square, got our fake IDs, and bought Bonded by Blood, and I bought Venom's Possessed also. I went home and listened to it. Like I said, I knew most of the songs, but I absolutely loved it. Fake IDs didn't work. Oh well, didn't get into the show, but it was absolutely phenomenal. Exodus are, like I said, the all-time greatest thrash. This is the all-time greatest thrash album of all time. And there we go. A couple things to show. Let's see. Dark Angel, the original Metal Storm Azra release. Picture disc on Azra. Another picture disc on Azra. Re-release on Azra with this cover. And these are really special on Azra. These little shaped, I don't know if you can tell the size, they're about 8 inches. little picture discs.
Wow,
arrived.
that's crazy.
Are
This
they
one-
singles?
Yeah. This one has "We Have Arrived" and "Welcome to the Slaughterhouse." Shaped picture discs. Shape 10-inch picture discs. This
Yeah,
one,
nice.
"Merciless Death" and "We Have Arrived." Oh, they put out 3 of them.
Killer. Nice.
Wild stuff.
I never seen that square one. I have one square album like that.
Oh
I
yeah,
showed
yeah.
it
I've
on
got a couple
almost
things
human.
like that.
Oh,
They
wow.
were very limited, but I got them all. Exodus,
That's awesome.
the old Bonded by Blood flyer.
Oh wow, cool.
The Exodus flyer from the Studio 54 show and the Lemoore East show,
Nice.
Wow.
and of course the original Bonded by Blood album. That's got. If I could show you the vinyl, you'd see how worn it is. Another thing with Bonded by Blood, I mentioned when we were talking about Hello H, that back in the day I used to carry my boombox around, carry it all around Queens and Manhattan, just blasting Hello H. Bonded by Blood and Hello H were the 2 albums I played the most in 1985, bar none, and I blasted this album all around the city. Millions of people heard me playing it. So there you go. What a year, 1985. These albums are amazing. And all the albums, we haven't talked about the album covers in depth. All the album covers are fantastic. All 5 of these albums. And just, again, I could go on, but great stuff. Great night. Great homework.
Hey,
Excellent.
I wanted to bring up something about since you brought up album covers. You guys ever heard of the band Gates of Ishtar? They had an album called Dawn of Flames.
I remember
No.
Sounds
They were-
familiar.
Gates of Ishtar. I had it on CD years ago. It was on Metal Blade, but the album cover rips this off. The man with his arms up I mean, it's just like it. Whoever the artist was stole it completely, detail and all, and then added some other stuff. I'd pull it up on where you can see it. You probably really can't see it on the phone here at all. It's probably going to be too much glare.
Yeah, it's
To
all
the side,
whited
more
out.
to the side.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you ever look it up, Gates of Ishtar, you'll see it. It's like, yeah, it's just like, wow, they really ripped that off. I mean, it's like they copied it to a T, man.
You know what I always thought about this album cover is look how long her arm is. Her arm,
Yeah, right.
like it goes. It seems like it seems like proportionally it's off. Like I
Yeah.
noticed it
Yeah.
like that and on the shirt, even the arm is just so long. And then this album cover looks like one of their high school friends came up with it in
Yeah,
their notebook
totally.
or
It's
something.
pencil.
But
It's
it
totally
is
pencil.
so cool.
Yep.
Like that band Phantom that we had on last week, like they got some like this artwork in like their inside of their shit, and I love it. It's that old school fucking.
You can see the texture of the paper that they drew it on originally. Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's what we that drew. I mean, I know like count and everything. Myself, I drew a lot, and we did stuff like this, man. That looks like something we
But
would have
it's
come
so
up
weird
with.
back then though, because there's the EPs or the singles may have better artwork than the album. Their main album has. And it's so weird that they have because it's always a budget thing on how good artwork you get, or somebody in the band is too stubborn.
Look at Fistful of Metal, and then you get like this like nice airbrushed like painted.
Right.
Yeah.
Fistful of Metal. It's
Yeah.
like the thumb is on the wrong side of the fist and stuff.
Yeah.
I think this is up there. This and Bonded by Blood are the 2 really awesome album covers of this.
I always
This
love
is
that.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, say like Metallica, say they have Kill 'Em All, but then you see at their single Jump in the Fire, which is
Oh
cool.
yeah. Oh
Fuck.
yeah. That would have been way better cover.
Death
Yeah.
EP was great.
And you got Ride the Lightning. I mean, it's cool with the cheer and stuff, but Creeping Death EP,
It all work. Yep.
Well, the original Metallica cover was supposed to be the metal up your ass.
Yeah.
Knife
that's
coming out the
something
toilet.
else.
That was supposed to be the original cover. So.
Yeah.
I used to have that shirt.
Yep, me too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that chick
I
from the
also wish that Slayer had continued with the artist they used for Hello Eights, because I don't know. I think the Hello Eights artwork is so cool.
And
Yeah.
the Show No Mercy, it looks like it's the same. Is it the same
Yeah.
guy? Because it looks like the same work. I
But
never even thought.
the Live Undead and Hello Eights is the same guy.
And the Hell Awaits, they totally ripped off of the old heavy metal magazine. There was a picture of the exact artwork, and they just kind of redid it.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
wow.
Oh, you never seen that where it's like
No.
it's a part where a guy's like dreaming and he's smoking a pipe or something, and in the dream cloud, it's those demons ripping the guy. I got the little tattoo of it. That's like totally right out of. It's kind of like how Danzig also took like the Danzig skull out of a comic book. He
Right.
was right on the cover of a
Yeah.
comic book,
Mhm.
but he just like totally ripped it out. They did the same thing with Slayer. They took that one part and then they built like the rest of it around it.
Huh.
Interesting.
Son of a bitch.
You can find that. Just put in Slayer original Hallows Eve artwork or whatever. You'll see the images of right out of the heavy metal magazine, not music heavy metal. That French magazine that had all that
Right,
bizarre,
yeah.
crazy stuff.
And like
Yeah, I'm
Tony
gonna look
showed, it's like those bootlegs back in those days. They could be so much cooler than the album itself or the original releases. I mean, yeah, it's interesting. Definitely interesting topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Do a whole like show on that. That'd be cool.
That chick from the Exciter artwork could give you a good time reaching in the popcorn bucket if she was sitting behind you.
Yeah, you're looking at it now.
Yeah, totally.
So Steven's picks for 2 and 1. Hallows Eve, number 2,
Wow.
and Exodus, Bonded by Blood, number 1.
Both bands stopped in the store, so of course he has to pick them. If Dark Angel would have been in the store back then, they could have
It
gotten
would have
the
been
one or
number
two
1,
spot.
of course.
I mean, if his number one wasn't Exodus, I would have been pissed.
So my 2 picks to round this out for number 2 and number 1. Number 2 for me is going to be Exodus, Bonded by Blood. I fucking love this album. Until the homework, I kind of forgot how much I really like this album. Going back to this, boy, just really made me love this album again. The title track is killer. The song Exodus is fucking awesome. A Lesson in Violence, Piranha. Piranha's somebody was talking about the Studio 54 video, man. I love the intro to that. The song ain't about no tuna fish, and it ain't about no trout.
Oh, trout.
Piranha. So good. So
Yeah,
goddamn
man.
good. And Striking a Beast, killer, man. I really also like the re-recording of Let There Be Blood. I also very much like Rob Dukes in Exodus. I opened for them when they were touring for that Let There Be Blood. They played the Chance
I was
in
there.
Poughkeepsie. You were at that?
Oh yeah.
With Warbringer opening up for him?
Oh man, I got a great story about that night.
That was a great night. So my
I
band
did,
Left in Ruins.
yeah, Left
opened
in Ruins.
the
I've
show.
seen, your band Left in Ruins played a lot back in the day. I'd have,
Yeah.
I got like a free CD from you back in the day, but I went on the tour bus that night for Exodus because I was hanging out with Sammy from Mortician and Morpheus Descends, and he was doing the Generation Kill at the time. He was playing drums for Rob Dukes'
Right.
band, and they hadn't done nothing yet. It was like they were just getting it started, and he plays on the first album. So when they were in town, he's like, I was hanging out with him. So Rob Dukes was like, "Yo, come on the bus and everything." So we went on the bus, and Rob had the absinthe, but I didn't try it, or no, I still have never tried that. But he had that, but he wasn't drinking it himself. He like collected it, and it doesn't really have anything to do with the story, I guess, because but the guys in Warbringer were drinking, and they were so young at the time. They were like teenagers on the tour bus.
Yeah.
And as we were all sitting down and like everybody's just bullshitting. Gary Holt is there and hanging out and everything. And it was fucking really awesome letting us drink their beers and stuff. And the one guy from Warbringer starts puking right in the aisle, like right where everybody's hanging out. It was like the big rookie don't do that move on a tour bus, like go outside the puke, but he just couldn't hold it. He's a kid and he just puked, and that was it. I remember that was like we all just hung out outside the bus after that, and I don't know who had to clean it up after that, but everybody piled out, and we got pictures in the parking lot hanging out with Dukes that night and shit. And it was just an awesome, memorable night. And I didn't get puked on, but it came pretty close. Those Warbringer kids.
That's good.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah, that was a good show, man. That was a good fucking show. So that's my number 2. My number 1, obviously, is going to be fellow New Yorkers, Exodus, Anthrax. I'm a little drunk. I'm a little drunk.
They got an X in the name too. We
Yeah,
got
there's an X
Anthrax,
in there.
Exodus, and Exciter, all with X's.
Fair enough. There's an X in there. That's why I fucked up.
X-Order.
I've had
Triple
a few.
X. We should have made it a triple X episode and just had all
Yeah.
X.
That would have been cool.
X.
A lot of pissed off people.
Yeah, get some MILFs in here.
We could have had Exhumer. We could have put Exhumer in this episode.
There you go.
Music supplied by Nancy Savage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Triple X.
killer album, man. I like AIR a lot. Madhouse, obviously, everybody knows and loves that. Lone Justice, I really like a lot. Very cool song. The Enemy is awesome. Aftershock. Medusa is one of my top favorite Anthrax songs of all time.
Written
Fucking
by
killer.
Johnny Z.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's right.
Johnny.
And Gung Ho too. And I really liked the fucking remakes of some of these tunes on The Greater of Two Evils. I'm a big John Bush fan. I like him in Armored Saint. I like him in Anthrax. And I thought that the remakes on this record were really fucking good. Personally.
Some of them are okay. I didn't like Death Rider at all, though. They ruined Death
No?
Rider. With
That's John Bush doing
that
all the
whole
old
groove
songs?
metal thing. You messed it up.
Yeah, it's John Bush doing Neil Turbin and Joey Belladonna too.
Oh, I never heard that. Never seen it.
Very good. Very good. But I like that era. The John Bush era of Anthrax is what got me into Anthrax. So
I do actually. I love John
I think
I agree with you there. I love John Bush's voice. I love one of my favorite singers. So I did actually like that era of Anthrax just strictly for John's vocals.
yeah, man. Absolutely. So that's my number 1.
Weren't so goofy.
That's my number
Charlie
1. And I-
Benante always made everything worth listening to once at least. You always have to give it a chance just to hear what Charlie would come up with. He's such a fucking amazing drummer.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And Scott Ian's a great rhythm player.
I remember I was in Poland to the first Big Four show ever. It was like over 100,000 people on a Polish airfield outside the Warsaw and stuff. And at the end, there was all the bands gonna get together to sing "Am I Evil?"
Right.
And Joey Belladonna started the thing, and he botched those lyrics really bad because I noticed he wasn't a big fan of that type or that band. I think because. He could sing "Am I Evil," but the things before.
He
Well, that's
wanted
good.
to
Joey
say,
Belladonna's
he wanted to
a big-
say,
Huh?
he wanted to sing "Am I the Man?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I am.
You would have rather have been singing a Journey song.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've done that better.
But yeah, Ralph made a good point about Scott Ian, man. That's another reason why I love this album so much too. The rhythm guitar tone
Kick ass, man. Kick
on
ass,
this
man.
album is just so fucking vicious. So
I-
good.
I love it when they go into those sort of like little SOD parts. Like I know it's like the mosh parts and it's kind of the happy part even at times, but something about them two together when they hit like a cool rhythm, it's always the vocals that kind of fuck things up for me with Anthrax. But I like their music. I think they always are great musicians.
Absolutely. Fantastic musicians. So guys, this has been a fucking awesome show. I really enjoyed hosting. I really enjoyed hanging out with you dudes, as I always do. So the winners tonight. Number 5 is going to be Exciter with 15 points. Number 4 is going to be Anthrax with 16 points. Number 3 is going to be Dark Angel with 17 points. Number 2, Hallows Eve with 18 points. And number 1, the Mighty Exodus with 24 points.
Cool.
Can't
How
go
about that,
wrong with
fellas?
any of them. Yeah. Good
How
stuff.
about that
Classics.
shit?
Classics.
This was fun.
Killer.
So I don't know what the hell we're doing next week. If Steven's going to be here from
We'll
beyond.
figure it out.
talking
figure
through
it
a
out.
Ouija board to me. I have no idea.
Keep-
But hopefully we have another episode coming next week. I like doing the every week thing. I think it's cool. So
Oh yeah.
we'll see what happens. It's been cool hanging with you guys tonight. And thanks for tuning in to the Rock Fantasy Files. Please press like and subscribe and share the links. Good night.
See ya.
All right, guys.